So, Mark, it's Valentine's Day, and the Sphere is trying to find love, but it's the only screen ball in the world. What shall it do?
Yeah, I just realized I still need to get my kids something before the end of school, so I'll have to figure that out after this. But I feel like they kind of mailed this one in. There's nothing special about it. Felt kind of flat, like they were just like, you know what? I'm over making cool stuff. Let's just do back to the face thing with some hearts.
Well, the Sphere does have some big news that we'll talk about later in the show. That's going to bring love
back. All right.
So the internet was abuzz the other night as some mysterious objects flew over Las Vegas, making a very distinct shape. But obviously it was Starlink launching their internet satellites to give high-speed internet to all.
It was the aliens, man. They busted out of the underground thing out in the desert, flew out and left. That crappy little alien hotel got up and flew away.
Am I the only one who doesn't care about this? I saw so many people post about it, like pictures of this, and it's okay.
No, I mean, it looked cool. I thought it looked cool. I'd stand out there and take some pictures and stare at it. It was like, it does look like a meteor is coming through or something. I don't think many people are going to see it, and it was such a clear night and everything. I can see why people are excited about it, but people like freaking out about it was a little bit weird.
People were also freaking out about rain. It was 214 days without rain in Las Vegas, and it finally ended. It got cold again, so I'm allowed to wear my hoodie, I guess. And there was snow in the mountains, which is more important because it makes it beautiful for us to look up at those mountains. So Mount Charleston full of snow, not anything crazy with the rain here. Yeah, it was good to see.
I really want to, that lodge to get done. Ever since we talked about it before it burned down, I've been wanting to get up there. That's probably like my number one thing left in the Vegas area that I really like. Not the only thing left, but the top of the list for me is to get up there and see what that looks like. And I think it's so unique. It's an hour away from the Strip or whatever, and you can be in a totally different world. And most people, I think, that visit Vegas just have no understanding that it's even there.
It's just funny to see how we all get so excited about rain when it's been literally 200 plus days, which is sort of insane. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed it. You went outside, you danced in the rain, you made it good because it's probably going to be a while.
I mean, I'm ready for the floods and the leaks and the TVs crying, all that stuff.
Well, I can assure you my roof leaked last night. So yeah, it sucks when things dry out and then the rain comes. That's the bad side. So on to some bad news here from Westgate. Another one bites the dust. Apparently they started charging for parking. They're using this QR code system that we've seen at Oyo and Strat. So it's sort of an honor system. We don't know quite how they're enforcing it. Vital Vegas wrote up a whole piece saying they're really not towing anybody. So I guess take that information how you will. But yeah, $10 a day. They have been charging for events for a while, so it can depend on what day. It could go up from there, but that's what you're looking into. I don't get this at all, considering their location and everything else, but I guess with their new Vegas loop station, they're going all in.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a good way, especially when more open up to get around the parking. And $10 is probably still one of the better ones in town. So at least it's not terrible. It's still annoying. The garages downtown here, you drive in, they snap your license plate. You're supposed to fill it out on the app. And then if you leave, I'm not really sure. I always fill it out. I'm not sure how they track you down, but they always send you the bill after. I'm assuming they have a way to check that, check your license plate and send you a bill for more than what you would pay. So I don't know how long that will last, but it seems like the same type of technology they should have there.
I hate these QR code systems, especially in a control garage. You're charging $10 a day, just install it and do it. But I guess if they're not enforcing it, then that's a way for people to get away with it. I just don't understand this. They have a lot of locals as their clientele. You still get 3 hours free as a local, but they're trying to compete with these bigger strip properties. I guess they figured that this is a boon for them. I don't know, but free parking is gone. Just everybody should accept that.
Just make it so that everybody that has a player's card gets parking. You'll still make some money for people just visiting, forgot their card or don't have a card yet, that type of thing. And then they'll get a card for next time they come. I think that's the best way to do this. You'll still make a little bit of money, but you'll keep all your regulars happy.
So moving on, Billboard announced their top music venues in the United States for different categories, and 3 Vegas venues won awards, including the top West Coast Stadium went to Allegiant, the top residency venue went to the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace, and then they created this whole award for wow factor, just I guess to give it to the Sphere.
So was the stadium just about like athletics, or was it more about the sound and like a concert, or is it just like overall as a stadium?
This is for concert stuff, but it was subjective, so they picked it. It wasn't like there was some overall strategy, I think. But yeah, it's basically for music. Yeah. It says a music venue.
Okay. So haven't we heard people complain about the sound at Allegiant every time they've had a concert there?
Yeah, but maybe they fixed it. I haven't heard any complaints recently. I have not been to a concert there, only to sporting events. But the Coliseum, I mean, it's an older venue now. It's been around for a while, still winning those awards with all the new competition. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's cool. And you can always get a $300 pizza if you're at the the Elysian too.
So I'm going to pretend I know anything about poker as we talk about this next story. But apparently, MGM has raised their rake from $5 to $6. That's their take from poker players. And again, I'm not a poker player, but apparently this is significant.
Yeah, I don't know much about poker either. I played a little bit, when I got in that rounders phase at like 18, started playing, doing the online stuff for like a year or two, but never really fully got into it, never played a live game. But I just imagine it's like a bigger cut, like you're whatever you guys are gambling and stuff, you're just losing more of that money. It flips like how much you can make, or maybe your expected odds and stuff like that, and you're just losing more. So it's just kind of nibbling away. I know somebody commented that the tournaments aren't even really worth it anymore. They take so much out of the fee, like $130. I think they said 25 of it or something goes to the house for the fee, and then there's just not enough players to really make it with a lot of action or exciting. So I think poker, we've seen it kind of die off. A couple of people have built new rooms. One, they had to make how many videos to show people how to get there. But it's not as beloved or not as plentiful as it used to be.
When I was looking at the Reddit thread that sort of initially reported this, there was a lot of people talking about like some international casinos, Canadian casinos, and their rake is significantly higher. So apparently $6 is still good compared to some others. And talking about poker rooms, we didn't have this on the rundown, but somebody had asked Vital Vegas when Caesars was going to reopen their poker room, and he said they're looking for a spot for it. So we don't know what's going on with the poker room there. Wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come out, or if it ends up in the forum shops, a la Venetian.
Yeah, let's put more of them in malls. That's really going to help the traffic and everything.
As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gives you access to our weekly after show, plus our back catalog of after shows. A lot of laughs, fun behind the channel, things we can't talk about on YouTube. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. Thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So I was in Sam's Town the other day, Mark, and I discovered something that I had not seen in a while. In fact, it happened, and I didn't even pay attention to the fact it happened. My wife had to point it out. She put a ticket in a machine, and it returned change. Actual coins came out of the machine. So much so that I had to go back and film it again.
I knew that's what you did.
I didn't know. Yeah, I'm yelling at her in the video.
You're like instructing her, no, pull the money out and hold it up. And I was like, oh, and then you're saying you didn't notice it at first. I'm like, oh my God, he put like $1 in a machine just so he could cash it in.
Yeah, no, that was the second attempt. The first attempt was just a normal thing, and then the change came out, and it was like, wow. So yeah, I don't know any other casinos that are doing this, and I don't remember this. Is this new? I'd love for people out there, a lot of people in many different casinos. So let us know if anybody else has returned to giving coins.
I'm surprised they still are allowed to do this. During COVID, okay, you give it a thing. People don't want to touch as much. I mean, they're still touching money, the cash portion, not the change. What's really the difference? I guess it was, but back then it was harder to get your hands on change. Maybe they couldn't refill them as much, but that's not a problem anymore. It's just a way for them to somehow take some money from you, leave them behind. We've talked about how many millions of dollars of small tickets get left behind, or you donate them. I'm sure they like write off somehow that was their donation. It's just kind of crazy.
On to Flamingo, we talked maybe a month or two ago about the pool area under complete reconstruction. I think it was in December that I had video, and then Chris Holmes a few weeks ago, he put out video, which I'll show now of how it looks. It's still very far from being done, but they finally announced what it's going to look like and that it's going to open in March. No exact date. But this is interesting because it's open to the public, and you kind of see them going for a clubby vibe here. They removed a lot of the swimmable pool space, added a 30-seat bar. You still do have a waterfall, although the rock work is gone, but very little swimmable pool here.
Yeah, it seems like that's what they're going more and more to. We've seen that in the new hotels, how it's like smaller, thinner pools, not as much space, not like as grand. I guess that will help heat them up some, but it definitely is a takeaway. I mean, that pool felt like it was always pretty busy. There's a lot of people standing in that water, a lot of PP, but I don't think, that this is going to be as good, or maybe it'll be like more crammed. Maybe that's what people want. I don't know, but it looks really nice. They definitely needed to do some updating. I've stayed there 4 or 5 times, walked around the pool area, always enjoyed it, but I've never actually swam in there. So I can't speak to that as much, but it does at least look like a higher end finish than what they had before.
Yeah, I agree. It looks very, very nice, but it kind of takes away some of the cool old school vibe of what the pool was. One thing that they did talk about, we don't know quite what temperature it's going to get to, but they are temperature controlled, it says. And the old pool was notoriously cold. But as you said, this has always been a party pool, always busy. Not my particular vibe for relaxing or being in a pool area, but very nice, very beautiful. And I think this is going to feed well, even though it has less swimmable space. People are going to love that bar and some of the other stuff that they have there.
Unless it's the summer, then Sean will be like, "What are you doing outside?"
If you're in the water, it's fine. It's fine. Over to MGM Grand, and Netflix Bites is officially open. That is the 1-year pop-up restaurant over at MGM Grand. It's right next to where Ka is in that area of the casino, and we got the menu. Prices aren't too bad. It's very sort of, I don't know, bar kind of food or coffee shop kind of food, all themed to Netflix stuff. I will say, looking at the pictures and videos of this place, it sure looks like they went all out for something that's only going to last a year.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Each room seems to be like featured after a show, like a different experience and all that. I thought the bar area looks really cool. The rest of it, I'm not super in love with it, but they definitely went all out. You can't blame them for that, and they're giving it a go. I don't know. Can you make enough money in 1 year to pay for all this?
I guess maybe a part of it is their marketing promotion. They're trying all these things. The Stranger Things store recently closed on the Strip, but that was there for probably a couple of years. Maybe they feel like the marketing that they get from it pays off. I mean, the prices aren't bad. It's pretty much in line with a similar type of restaurant that you'll find on the Strip. $20-ish for sandwiches and stuff, which, yeah, it's crazy that that's something normal, but that is what everything costs everywhere on the Strip. So yeah, I think I would check it out. It looks cool. And they had the Squid Games guys ever welcoming people at the entrance the other day, which was neat as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I would have thought that they would have just stuck with, they did Stranger Things, maybe go to Squid Games to change that store over. It was really busy last time I was there. And I had been out for a while. It was still pretty full, people buying stuff, all those type of things. So you get like people coming in, loving the show. They spend some money. I guess you're getting the same thing for food, but the overhead for food is so much more than anything like in a store. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't just turn that over with a different show and move on from there.
So this next one is for you. You're a few years away from being able to do this, Mark, but the High Rollers, that is the Las Vegas Aces
you're
cheerleading
closer than
team. Me. So people should listen to the after show if they want to know. But
True.
Anyway, auditions
Touche.
are happening for the 2025 High Rollers. This is the cheerleading team for the Las Vegas Aces. So you must be 50 years or older to do it. Men and women are allowed to do it, and you have to attend both days of the audition, so you can't get tired out on the first day. And all dance levels are welcome.
I mean, this is kind of amazing. It goes against everything anybody's ever done for cheerleading, but it's something unique, something fun. I'm sure they really get into it and enjoy it and everything, and I'm sure people enjoy watching it versus the same old thing that they see at all other games. So it's a cool idea. I didn't even know this was a thing, but good for them for thinking of something different.
I didn't know it was a thing either. I got the email from the Aces the other day and was super excited. I think this is a great idea. Of course, we're joking a little bit, but yeah, bring something different. I tagged our buddy Detroit 1051 on X to see if he'd go try out, and he didn't. He didn't want to.
Yeah, I think my two bad knees would definitely fall apart after the first day or two.
And Mark sang it earlier, but it is true. The Backstreet Boys are coming to the Sphere, the first pop group to come to the Sphere. We talked about all the old rock and roll. We've had EDM, other stuff as well, but never a pop group. And is there any bigger one than the Backstreet Boys? They are bringing their Millennium Tour back. So a tour that they did around 2000. In fact, they're remastering the album, and they already added 3 additional shows saying high demand, even though they hadn't sold any tickets yet. So they always had those 3 shows. But here's the dates: July 11th, 12th, 13th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 25th, 26th, 27th. And then the 3 extra shows they just added August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Pre-sales for the fan club are February 18th. It's $60 to join. I know there's a lot of information, but I think that's the best way to score tickets if you really, really care.
Yeah, because I think they will sell out. I mean, I think their last tour, they did really well. And this is like a next level up from there. So I think it will be popular, and they'll probably sell out everything pretty quickly. So I think that is a good idea if you really, really want to go and you don't want to pay secondary market prices, which maybe you could get a deal last minute if they overvalue what they got. But I think with that amount of shows over the summer, I think it'll do well. But are we ever going to get someone from like the 2000s in there when they were super popular?
Come on, you were complaining that they only had 60s and 70s. They got late 90s, early. They were popular in the 2000s.
We're working our way up there. Maybe like 2005 next, then to 2010. I don't know.
They're going to find somebody from 2010. They're going to be like, do they have any contemporary acts from 2018? Come on. They got a series of, can we say that they're getting some momentum here? It does seem like that.
Yeah.
And Backstreet Boys is a huge, huge name. Like you say, it's going to sell out. This is huge for the venue. Say what you like about the music or not. I mean, this is as big a score as you're going to find.
They need to do like Boys to Men as the opener for a couple songs or something.
Get some 98 Degrees in there. O-Town. There you go.
O-Town. You're going really at the bottom of the barrel here.
And let's close with this. MGM had their earnings call. And while we're not going to go over everything that was in there, there were some interesting takeaways. I went through the transcript, kind of going through. We talked on the last show about that net profits are down all across Nevada, Vegas, everything else, even though net revenue is up. Here are the numbers for the quarter. Net revenues of $2.2 billion compared to $2.4 billion in the prior year quarter, a huge drop off from F1. And their adjusted profits were down 11% year over year. So there's some softness, a lot of it attributed to F1, some real strength elsewhere in their business. Their stock was up quite a bit after this earnings call. But we're kind of seeing similar things to what we talked about before as far as the Las Vegas Strip stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the bigger picture or even more of a niche picture with MGM versus what we had, been seeing all year. And then especially what we talked about last week, big numbers, but they're making less money.
Other takeaways, their slot win in handle in December was a record, their best ever in any month. Marriott, 660,000 room nights stayed in the year, and obviously they've said that they're getting higher rates. It's going very well there. Osaka, they're in development there. They all have a groundbreaking schedule for April 24th with ground preparation ending this year. So yeah, Osaka moving forward. We'll talk about MGM Grand Formula One in a second, but a lot of positive stuff there. Osaka's exciting to see that they're actually moving forward with that as well.
Yeah, and I think I saw, I don't know if it was John Mahaffey or Mark Meltzer, but they had been talking about the table games and how in the report, like the hold was really high. People must have been playing not good games or making a lot of bonus bets or something, or it's just a weird, couple big whales came in and lost their butt. I don't know, but I guess that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I'm really, the most surprised thing is how much Marriott drove people to Vegas. Like I wouldn't have expected it would be that big of a push or people booking through Marriott. I assume a lot of people coming to Vegas have their own rewards, gambling card and all that stuff and probably get better deals there. But it seems like if you're a big Marriott person and you're like, all right, I got to go to Vegas for a convention or whatever, let me pull up Marriott, see what I can get, which kind of surprised me some.
So moving on to MGM Grand, the renovations are going forward. We talked about the new rooms, what they look like, got some looks at them, but we found out from this call that there's already 600 rooms online. So if you are booking and looking to stay there, by the end of the year, all the rooms in the main tower will be renovated, but you can get one now. And I think that's important because it is a significant upgrade based on everything I've seen.
Yeah, bring back the $20 sandwich trip, right? I just want the new room. I don't care about a bigger room.
Of course, the Wall Street analysts asking them about rate uplift for MGM Grand with the renovated rooms. This is their term for when you spend money to renovate a property, you want to charge more for the hotel rates. They seem to be a little wishy-washy about that, not kind of thinking that it's going to be a huge uplift for rates, saying there would be some. They have more suites now, which we talked about, so that will help them as well. But yeah, this is just an overall huge improvement for MGM Grand's rooms.
Man, I hate that word. Uplift just drives me crazy.
So when it comes to F1, Hornbuckle talking about their strategy, obviously how the second year was worse than the first. He does say he thinks that this event will be here for the long term, but let me quote him. Obviously, we and the rest of the city have a quote-unquote a 3-year deal with an extension opportunity. We don't think it's going anywhere. We don't want it to go anywhere. But come next year, we're going to have to obviously sit down and discuss what it feels like going forward from there. So just a reminder to everybody, F1 for the 3rd year, then everybody's going to have a discussion, and it's going to be an ugly one.
Yeah, and that just shows who really controls Vegas, even though it's not in Vegas, but who really controls it, because the casinos should have no say in this. It should come from the people that run the organization that were hired in the government and according to what the voters want in the area, but they won't do that.
No, so we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of people, competing interests, downtown casino owners, other business owners, and it's going to be a big battle, I think, before we get a full extension of F1. But you can see where MGM is. They want it going forward. It's helped their properties more than it's hurt it. and a lot of great takeaways here. Love to see you chime in on MGM and their earnings and everything they discuss there. The Flamingo pool, do you like it? Is it beautiful? Leave a comment. Change coming from a ticket machine. Have you seen that at any other casinos recently? Let us know. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Kind of makes you feel like you're playing the old coin machines. Have a good week, everybody.
I was going to sing later in the show to Backstreet because I had that stupid song from their video in my head all day.
You can do it.
But now I can't.
They can
I can't
they
do
can
it.
then hate us both.